Hello, and welcome to the Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about books. My name is Flossie, and I would like to thank you for joining me because I really do look forward to your visit. Today, we are going to do a compilation of some of the books that I read and some of the books that I haven't. Before we get into this video, allow me to say, if you are a subscriber to my channel, I cannot appreciate you enough. I am so very grateful for you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, maybe go through some videos, see if I am the one for you. If not, no hard feelings. But if you like what you see, give me a subscribe. You're here anyways, right? Thank you so kindly. Okay, so let's get into these books. The first book that I would like to bring to your attention is God of the Woods by Liz Moore. This, surprisingly, is a DNF for me. I have tried my hardest with this book, and I am spinning my wheels in the mud. I am going nowhere fast with this book. Not that it is a bad book, because it's not. Let me tell you a little bit about it. It's about a girl named Barbara who is 13 years old, and she's attending summer camp. And one morning in August, I don't know the year, I think it was like 70 something, but she goes missing. Now, the thing that turns this into and even more so of a thriller is that Barbara is the daughter of the parents who own the summer camp. And oddly enough, 14 years prior to Barbara going missing, her brother went missing too, never to be found. So we have a little bit of a mystery going on, a little bit of a thriller. I chose to do the Audible version, and it's just not working for me. It's not. I think if I would have approached this book with a physical book, I would have fared out better. It would have just probably, I don't know, it just would have, I'm not liking the tone that the book is being read in. I'm sorry, but I'm not. If maybe if I was reading it, I could interpret it differently, but the interpretation and the tone that it's being read in is just not working for me. So at the moment, I'm choosing to DNF this book. You win some, you lose some. If you have read this book, let me know. If you have actually read the physical copy, let me know what your thoughts on it were, and if I should give it another chance, because I'm very willing to do that. But we're coming into spooky season, and I don't want to tie myself up into things that I'm just not vibing with. So this one was a DNF for me. All right. The next book that I would like to shine the spotlight on is Four Squares by Bobby Fingers. This book was like Calgon. It took me away. Did I just reveal my age? It's all good. This book is set in the 80s in New York City. So right there, this is telling you this is a happening book. There's a lot going on in this book. We're talking about a guy named Artie. And Artie is celebrating his 30th birthday with his friends, a group of friends. And I just have to say, this book is very coming and going with the friends. There always seems to be like a situation where someone is around. So it's a lot of food. It's a lot of celebrations. It's a lot of getting to know people, tavern, bar atmospheres. It's a fun book. Okay, so in a nutshell, the book is about a gentleman named Artie, and he's celebrating his 30th birthday in the 80s, and him and his friends are at a bar. Well, he and his friends are at a bar, and um he meets this kind of, what do you want to say, stick in the mud. He's a lawyer named Abe, and he's Artie's complete and total opposite. So eventually they have a relation, and it's at a time where the gay community is thriving, and HIV is a prominent player in that community. So it takes us through all of the celebrations and the discomforts of life, and the sadness and the happiness and just everything that life is. And then how do we deal with loss, separation, um, parting of the ways, and just coming back to ourself, finding out who we really are. And sometimes it takes others to help us along in our own journey of our self-discovery. And then just when, like we reach a, a point in our life where we might find ourselves lonely, um, what are we to do? Is this all that, life is? Is this all that there's left for us? We find that there's a whole different world that we had never expected, just kind of magically waiting for us. And it just like wakes us up again in life, and it gives our life new meaning. And it's the diversity of just something that we never saw coming our way, um, not our typical like path that we would have traveled. It's a wonderful book. I really, really enjoyed it. And the next book, Foo Foo Foo, The Saturday Night Ghost Club by Craig Davidson. Now, don't misunderstand me. This is a fun book. It's fabulous. I started reading this book, I want to say, in July. Yeah, I didn't write it, but let's just say July. And I still have not finished it. So pretty much it's a DNF for me. But that does not mean it's a bad book. It is not a bad book by any means. It's a wonderful book. I just got a little too busy, and I just seemed to not. I got halfway through this book, and I just seemed to never pick this book up again. I tried and I tried, and then I just realized, you know what? Great book, fun book, but I am not this book's target audience. Um, yeah, but I would recommend it, because what I did read of it, I was enjoying, but unfortunately my mind is, going in a different direction right now. And I just don't feel like this book was for me. It's the story about a young boy. I think he's like 12. His name is Jake, and he is afraid of monsters. And his uncle Calvin is like an expert when it comes to hauntings and the such. And so he is going to help Calvin along with, you know, getting over these fears. And so eventually, two siblings move in, and Jake befriends them. And before you know it, they established the Saturday Night Ghost Club. So it was fun. Like I said, it just wasn't my cup of tea. But set in the 80s. So if you like the 80s and if you like ghosts, I like ghosts. If you, I just feel like, I don't know, I'm not really into the middle grade type of book. And like, again, there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not the target audience for this type of book. I used to be. At one point in time, I would have just gobbled this goodness up. But at 53 years old, I'm still a kid at heart, but I don't know. I don't know. It just was not for me. Okay. Now, a book that was for me. Oh my goodness. This book was for me. And I'm not going to get too much into this because I do want to dedicate a video to it, solely dedicated to this book. And it is And a Hard Rain Fell by John Ketwig. Oh my goodness. It's the story of a GI's story in Vietnam. And heart, 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 the biggest heart ever. I have chills. The biggest heart ever. I love animals. I love soldiers. I my heart, oh my heart with this book. I'm not going to say anything more than that because like I said, I do want to do a video on this. So pretty soon I'm going to try to have a very productive week with my videos because I was very lax last week with them. I just got really, really busy. So I apologize for that, but I'm going to try to, have a good upcoming week with my videos. So I'm going to be reviewing this very soon, within the week. That's how soon. I'm going to tell you right now, 2 thumbs up. Okay, now another book that I have just finished reading. This is the story about a young lady who was victimized by Ted Bundy. It takes place in Florida, and Pamela Shoemaker, who is the president of the sorority, happens to see Ted Bundy as he's exiting the university with a baseball bat in hand. The hall light just like shone down on him, and she was able to clearly get a good picture of him. And there is another lady by the name of Tina who, begins a relationship with a girl named Ruth, and Ruth eventually ends up a victim. And when Tina hears this story about the young lady in Florida who has died at the hands of Ted Bundy, she immediately knows that the stories are interlocked, they're interlinked together. And so she travels halfway across the country to meet Pamela so that they can compare stories and try to do what they can to bring justice to their friends. So it's a revolving timeline, and the story is told by multiple people. So it's engaging, it's thrilling, it's a good read, and don't be like me. I've seen this book a million times out there and I never grabbed it, but I think it's definitely worth the read. I really, really do. Guess what? All right. So I said last week in August, I was going to be reading Bruce Lee, A Life by Matthew Polly. And then I was going to read the Words of Wisdom by Bruce himself with, I think it's called Be Like Water. I'm not 100%, but because I haven't gotten to it yet. But I think that's what it's called. So I'm going to work those 2 dual books, and then the first week of September, I'm getting into The Exorcist and behind the scenes of The Exorcist. So exciting times coming on my channel. All right, so I was doing the Audible version of Bruce Lee, and like I carried the book around in the store and I didn't buy it. I put it back. And then the second time I carried it and I didn't buy it, I put it back. So I said, I'll do the Audible version. And guess what? Funny thing, in doing the Audible version, I was only like 5 chapters in and I knew this book had to be mine. It had to be in my clutches. So I made a special trip to the bookstore to purchase it because, like, I love it. I love his story so much. I basically knew nothing about Bruce Lee, but I cannot wait to tell you all about it. Exciting times coming your way. So now, like, yeah, I had to have this book on my shelf. And I am now 12 chapters in. There's 20 some chapters to this book. Is that right? Is that right? Let's see. I'll try to do it really quick so I don't keep you. I'm almost there. But you know, you're always when you're in a hurry, it doesn't work out that way. So, but I really do think there's 24 chapters. So I'm halfway there. I'm 12 chapters in. So stay tuned to find out all about Bruce Lee. Until we meet again, know that I love you. Don't let those bad days win. And when you dream, make sure you dream big.